Hello everyone, this is Zooc, and today I'm bringing you a new drawing slash painting video. This one is going to be an original concept that I just came up with. I call it a post-apocalyptic trader. So the idea is, not trader, but tradesman, I suppose. So the idea is in a post-apocalyptic imaginary world, this character, a sort of mutated human-like, goblin-like looking sort of individual, goes around and salvages a lot of the waste that's left over after, I don't know, nuclear warfare or whatnot. You know, anything from pieces of wood to bones, pots, electrical devices, just carries it around in his huge overstacked backpack, you know, including whatever living creatures he can find, like mutated monkeys and whatnot. And he has this pet frog dog sort of hybrid that lugs around a pot with food on its back or some sort of toxic slime that he has there. You know, I didn't really think of an extensive backstory for him. I just drew whatever I thought about, and wanted to make a hybrid of illustration and painting because nobody says that you have to stick to only one style. So if you're comfortable mixing styles and if it looks good at the end, then it doesn't really matter, does it? So you know, last video I used strictly an illustration style, but I still want to lean towards painting a bit. So yes, this was done in full color, thankfully, and I found a way which works for me because having the issues that I have with color, you know, people just say, "Oh, the color scheme is bad." Well, that's fine if you have normal vision. I get it, but I don't. You know, some colors I just don't see properly. So for me to have a color scheme that appeals to normal people is a bit more difficult. But using the pre-named colors in a standard palette that is, and modifying those according to the degree of lightness or darkness and working with those, I think I came up with a pretty good method to make up for my lack of color savvy, I suppose. So I'm comfortable working that way now, and I think it turns out pretty okay. I do have to get inspiration from pre-made color palettes, which I find on the internet, you know, something for like metal, for example, or various browns or oranges or stuff like that, greens as well, and skin tones. But you know, in a fantasy drawing, you can pretty much make it whatever color you want. You can make a blue character wearing pink clothes if it looks okay at the end. So I think I'm definitely progressing in the ways of understanding technically the software that I'm working with. But this drawing, this is officially the longest drawing I've ever worked on. It took a whopping 12 hours. So yeah, I was just going to casually make a video before the holidays and ended up working on it for 3 days. But if you do put in the time, I think anything is doable at the end, even as a novice. You know, of course, I would prefer it if I had finished earlier with it. And I'm sure there are people out there that have the capability of doing something like this in maybe 5 or 6 hours. But maybe that's stretching it a bit. Let's say about 7 or 8, because come on, I mean, there's a lot of fiddling to be done, and no matter how good you are, you know, it's still going to take the time because you have to be careful with what you select and what you paint on. So that in itself takes a bit, and finishing up and adjusting the colors and whatever. So that's always done even in professional pieces. But I'm comfortable with the way I'm working now. It's a combination of illustration and painting, and I think I'm going to keep the line work because it's hard for me to obtain contrast between planes and shapes without having the line work. Coming from a traditional pencil background, where line work truly matters, then, you know, going to a digital where you can basically brush stroke your way to photorealism, yeah, it's going to take a while until I get adjusted to that. So I think I'm going to keep the line work at least for a while because it does help a lot with creating separation of planes in what I work on. So let's talk about something else. Holidays are coming here. Easter is coming. It's on Sunday, and I'm hyped because I get to bake. You know, I am a big fan of baking stuff. We have a traditional baked good here called babka in Poland. Over here we call it kozonak, which I think I've mentioned before. And it's basically like a sweet enriched bread with raisins and nuts and sugar in it and a lot of good stuff. It's really tasty. And I'm really good at making those. That's why I like it. And I'm gonna make a few and give out to a couple of people I know that don't really have such a good situation. One of them is homeless, and the other one is a guy that drives for us, so my chauffeur, if you will. So yeah, they're both pretty tight on money, and just want to give them a little joy for the holidays. You know, if not money, at least something tasty, because the ones I make are infinitely better than anything you can find in a store. And so it's fun to exercise my baking skills, at least on the holidays. Other than that, we've been kind of busy preparing for the whole thing. Basically, we buy entire lambs here, slaughter them, and then consume their flesh in various forms, from borscht to sort of an awful meatloaf, which I've talked about previously, to lamb roasts, all sorts of stuff. Pretty good. Not a big fan of lamb. I think it's my least favorite meat, but I do eat it on holidays because it's a waste if you don't. I mean, an entire lamb weighs about 15, 16 pounds, so it's kind of a shame if only 2 people get to eat it. So yes, right now I'm gonna go work some more because thank fuck for the holidays. Finish working on this stuff, and then I gotta work on actually cooking. So please rate that shit if you enjoyed it. I did enjoy it. I think it came out pretty well. I'm really happy with the result, and of course you can always improve, but for now I think it's a pretty decent step up. So happy Easter to those who celebrate it around these times. I don't even know which dates is in anymore. Like, every country has its own date for Easter, which is kind of strange. But anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.